Welcome to the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and the Politics podcast. I am Nolan West. And to start off this week, I want to cover some good, bad, and of course, ugly issues going down in Minnesota politics. The good, reinsurance is headed to the governor's desk to be signed. The bad, Democrats are still holding businesses hostage. And the ugly, Democrats are hiding their multi-billion-dollar budget from the public. First, let's start with the good. Reinsurance is on its way to the governor's desk, and it's rare to see a bill passed in the way that this one was. 19 Democrats from the far left wing of the party voted against it. If every Republican voted against it, the bill would have died. And that's usually what happens when the majority doesn't have enough members to push a bill through. But this bill actually passed 106 to 25. Representative Barb Haley of Red Wing hit the nail on the head.
So with this bill and this concurrence tonight, you are helping to bring stability to a market, and you are helping 160,000 Minnesotans have insurance coverage that doesn't increase 25 to 38% next year if we did not pass this tonight.
Without this bill, the private insurance market would cease to exist in the next few years because nobody could afford the insurance. That is why the far-left Democrats oppose this bill, actually. They want the insurance market to crash so that they can swoop in and save the day with government-run health care paid for by you. So that's the good news. Reinsurance passed. But what is the bad news? Well, House Democrats are still holding businesses hostage by blocking the legislation to refill our state's unemployment trust. The trust is actually $2.7 billion in the hole, and the deadline has passed, so every job provider in this state will see a 14% or more tax hike on their unemployment insurance. This will hurt every employer and employee. This tax hike will make employing people more expensive, which will only worsen our workforce crisis we're in already and reduce employee pay. The Democrat Majority Leader, Ryan Winkler, makes it clear in this clip.
The requirement is not that we pass this bill today. The requirement is that you have to be willing to say yes to something other than the unemployment insurance bill. If you could just say yes to workers, we would be done and be moving on with this bill.
The Democrats, as he says, want to hold this hostage for political horse trading at the end of session. Even though Governor Walz and the Senate DFL agree this needs to be done ASAP. Even worse, we're paying interest on this debt, which means even if we fix this later and prevent a tax hike, we'll still be getting fleeced as taxpayers every single day along the way. And now the ugly. Well, Democrats holding common sense bills is bad. It is basically standard operating procedure at this point for them, so it's only generically bad. It's not ugly. But the Democrats crafting their multi-billion-dollar budget entirely in secret, now that's ugly. To explain this, I need to do a quick background on the budget process and how it works. When the legislature crafts a budget, each finance committee is given what's called a budget target. And that target just tells them how much they intend to spend in an area. And those numbers are supposed to be released ahead of time so that the public, i.e. the people providing the surplus that they are spending, know how they intend to spend their money. We have over a $9 billion surplus, and the Democrat committee chairs have literally been instructed by the Speaker of the House not to release their budget targets. Here is a clip from the State Government Finance Committee chair saying this explicitly in a response to a question from Representative Jim Nash.
Representative Nash, we've been instructed not to release our targets yet. The Speaker and the Chair of Ways and Means are going to be dealing with that shortly.
So that means you won't know how the Democrats intend to spend your money until the time for public input has pretty much passed. This is not how government should be run. This is what drives people nuts. So that's the good, bad, and the ugly of politics this week. Reinsurance is headed to the governor, which will stymie Democrat plans for single-payer health care. Democrats are still holding the unemployment trust hostage, hurting every job provider in the state. And last and worst, the Democrats intend to spend billions of taxpayer dollars entirely in secret. If you live in an area represented by a Democrat, please send them an email, politely, telling them to refill the unemployment trust right away. It's costing us all money. It needs to be done as soon as possible. So that's it for today. Hope you found this valuable. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.